Good morning. We're going to start right off first thing in the morning asking you to sing in an African tribal language. If you haven't had your coffee yet, you might want to grab a cup. That's the easy one.
Got it. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. If every life we have some trouble, but when you worry you make it double. Don't worry, be happy. It is on. Okay, good morning and welcome. As you can see, our musicians today are Erin English and Elizabeth Jereza. Welcome, welcome. And our guest speaker is the lovely and talented Reverend Joanna Gabriel. And we're going to hear more from her shortly. I was supposed to give a brief announcement that the lyrics on the screen might differ a little bit from what you expect. Some last minute changes were made, so just try and follow along as best you can when the lyrics are on the screen. Okay, wonderful. Yes, don't worry, be happy. So, welcome, welcome. Is there anybody with us for the very first time today? One person. Hello, welcome. Oh, I know you.
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay, did you get your what? Oh, another one. Great, wonderful. Did you get your red hearts? You did. And did you also, Matt? Did you get a red heart? Matt needs a red heart. I know Matt's name because he goes to our Course in Miracles group, and also sometimes I bump into him at the pool at the Y. There's a growing body of us here who hang out at the Y in the pool. Okay, wonderful. All right, we're going to talk more about the red heart in just a moment. I want to give acknowledgement to the people that make Sunday mornings happen, because without these people that I'm going to name in a second, it wouldn't be quite as lovely as it is. So, our board member of the week is Joe Zukowskis. And he is, he's also He's also a chaplain. I'm sorry, I'm flailing for words a bit here. Also, Marilyn Carlson is serving as our chaplain today for prayer support. So if you would like prayer support, please know that Marilyn, she's wearing the prayer shawl. Wave your hand, Marilyn. Yeah. She's available for prayer support if you would like that. And our youth ed champion is Joyce. Hospitality hosts are Anne and/or Mary Ellen. I saw Mary Ellen, so I know she's definitely
And
here.
I saw Anne.
Okay, good, they're both here. In fact, the door's closed, so they're plotting. They're plotting the refreshments. Okay, and Susan is our spick and span angel today, wonderful. Our technology director is Mark Swink. Thank you, Mark, for all you do. And Susan Henderson is also our office assistant who does wonderful things behind the scenes and helps everything to flow smoothly on days like today. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so next we're going to have some more music.
Yay!
I wonder which song. Well,
We already did it.
yes, right, you've already done
Don't
two.
worry, be happy.
So we're going to ask you to sing in Hindi, sort of. This was a song written by George Harrison when the Beatles were in India. They came back to England and they recorded the song, but they never released it. So there's a recording out there. Thanks to YouTube, you can hear it. But this is a Beatles song that they never got around to releasing because they had too many fabulous songs sitting around. This was written in India. It's a pilgrimage song. It's a song of searching for, on that pilgrimage, on that road to whatever it is that you're searching for. It's called Dehradun. We will ask you to sing Dehradun with us. That's the name of a city that is it's a pilgrimage city. It's a destination in India. But the verse lyrics are about, of course, whatever your destination is, whether it's spiritual, whether it's literal, whether it's an actual city. We don't pilgrimage the way that Europeans and the Near Eastern folks do, but we pilgrimage in different ways. George Harrison.
Many roads can take you there, many different ways. One direction takes you years, another takes you days. Many people on the road looking at the sights, only others with their troubles looking for their rights.
lovely. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Okay. So, if you are new today to the Unity of Bremerton, we welcome you in the spirit of love. I'm going to tell you what the red heart signifies. We want you to know that no matter where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. We know that the world is a better place when we're willing to share our hearts. We give you this heart as a symbol of the steadfast spirit that lives within each one of us, and we ask you to carry this heart as a symbol of this Red Heart Fellowship. Let it be a reminder that the love of God is always with you and to share your heart wherever you go. The red heart as a symbol of fellowship in the world can spread love one heart at a time. Let's start the movement here. Okay. Some announcements coming up. October the 3rd, which is Monday, I think, or is that Tuesday? Tuesday. Susanna Claire is doing her New Moon Circle, her spiritual star talks. So that's $15 per class. It starts at 6:30 p.m. and there's a sign-up sheet in the fellowship area. If you haven't been to that before, it helps to let her know ahead of time about your birth information so she can kind of prepare a little something for you. Okay. And we have some other things coming up. It's printed in your bulletin. I'm not going to read every single one of them, but one of them is the October 22nd. We're going to have our annual congregation meeting. Just a note that it's open to everybody, even if you aren't an official member of the church. You're welcome to attend. But we do want members to come, and we want members to vote. So please put that on your calendar and plan on that. Okay. And it's time for our weekly board report. Joe Zukauskas has some announcements for us. Welcome, Joe.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So Debbie mentioned the upcoming congregational meeting, October 22nd. And all are invited to attend, but only members who have completed the membership forms will be able to vote. Postcards are going to be mailed out by October 7th to members. So anyone interested in becoming a board member should talk to the nominating committee, Sally McAllister and Nora Clemens. They'll announce the nominees at the meeting on October 22nd, and members will vote at that meeting. And we want to thank you for completing the feedback forms, those included in the Sunday bulletins. The information is helpful to us, and so please continue to fill them out and put them in the bag in the fellowship area after the service. Also, technology envelopes are available for those who want to make a separate contribution and go directly to the technology fund. And you'll find those in the seat on your seats. Currently, let's see, the estimated financial cost is $6,000, and currently our balance is $1,654. So we're getting there. We also want to remind you that we're live streaming our service. We ask that you keep conversation down because it's being picked up, especially during the candle lighting and the paper burning, where we burn our things we want to let go of. Unity of North Kitsap has a weekly meditation on Tuesday nights. And on Tuesday, October 3rd at 7 p.m., there'll be drumming with Walter Moeller. This is an ancient group experience that could be a gateway to going deeper. There's a large drum and beaters for group drumming, so it's not necessary to bring a drum if you don't have one, and everyone's welcome. Cindy and Debbie attended the Northwest Regional Conference on September 7th. Our next board meeting is October 8th, and we, the board, will continue to update you weekly. So if you have any questions or concerns, please see a board member after the service.
Joe is one of those people that does double duty around here, and there are several of us, but he wears a couple of hats. He's a board member, he's a chaplain, and he pitches in other various volunteer activities. So here's a big shout out to all of the volunteers who do double duty. All right, it's time for the lighting of the Christ candle, and this represents the Christ Spirit in each one of us. Our mission statement is on the screen. Can we say that together?
We are a welcoming community supporting our mutual quest for spiritual truth.
Wonderful. Okay, and this is our invocation of faith. Let's say this together.
There is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent.
Okay. We're going to have handshakes and hugs. I'm going to ask you to keep it brief because we want to hear our wonderful speaker and more music, and we will have fellowship time following the service. So let's greet each other, and if you hug, hug gently. Thank you.
And quickly. Hello.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Well, yes. My friend
I need to see you somewhere. I gotta get close. We still have a nose.
but she actually knows what she's doing. Three is the right price.
Nice to meet you. Hi, emergency room for like a week nearly. I'm Marilyn. I spoke with him in the middle of the night. Oh my God. Surgery.
Always happy to see Oh, that's fine.
I don't care what they say.
It's east of Seattle, about 45 minutes, Zeppelin Hills. Yes, very much so, a little bit north.
Oh, you forgot that.
Look at that. I don't. No.
All right, another language.
Fill me in.
So this is a song written by the world's best-selling artist ever. The two top-selling artists in the world are both Jamaican. One of them came immediately to mind to me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bob Marley. The other took a little while. Harry Belafonte.
Oh,
Yeah, this is a Harry Belafonte song, and he wrote it around a phrase that is Swahili that means "and so it is," or "and so is life," and that's "abatiwa." So okay, that'll come in at the end of the song. This is a song that he wrote. He was the biggest artist in the world at the time, so he was traveling around the world and visiting other cultures, incorporating other music and bringing it back to America. This is called Turn the World Around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We
from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life. Abatiwa. So is life. Oh, so is life. Abatiwa. So is life. Water make the river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life. Abatiwa. So is life. Oh, so is life. Abatiwa. So is life. One more time. Oh, so is life. Abatiwa. So is life. Oh, so is life. Abatiwa. So is life.
Anything Belafonte I can just eat up.
That was on his
Today's day,
mind.
today's daily word,
I had it.
time of prayer. My every breath is a prayer. The Apostle Paul exhorts his small congregation in Thessalonica to rejoice always, pray constantly. But what does that mean for me? I could certainly choose to spend this entire day making a conscious effort to stop all activity and pray, but my human experience would come to a standstill. I'm not here in human form to avoid the world, but to transform it. I pray without ceasing when I begin the day by aligning my mortal mind with the divine mind that is my source. The divine mind that is my source. As a result, I know I will be divinely guided through every challenge, every choice that the day will inevitably bring. I will be the presence and power of God in expression, and my every breath will be a prayer. From 1 Thessalonians 5, verses 16 through 18. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances. For this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Today, my every breath is a prayer. Breathe in, breathe out. God bless us.
We're going to sing a song for you. This will precede Reverend Joanna's lesson. So I run a charity that supports music programs at orphanages and refugee camps around the world, and we're fortunate enough to be a beneficiary of the giving fund from the Unity of Bremerton. So I brought this song as a thank you. This was written by a couple of 15-year-olds at the Love to Love organization in Uganda. So they have an orphanage, they have an HIV/AIDS positive youth community center. They have a music school that we helped them start, which is free for those who can't afford it. And for those who can, they pay to support it, to pay the rent. And the teachers volunteer their time. These are two very talented kids that are in the program. This is a song thanking God. It's called Unconditional Love.
I open my eyes to see your face. I lift my ears to hear your voice. I use my mouth to share your words. I raise my hands to feel your love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love. You saved my life when I was lost. You turned my night into day. You showed me a way where there was no way. You gave me a love like I never knew. Unconditional love, love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love. All the blessings I have, you gave them to me. All the burdens I carry, you lifted them from me. Unconditional love, love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love, love, unconditional love.
Thank you for sharing that song. Those teenagers certainly are talented. Wow, impressive. Okay, our guest speaker today, Reverend Joanna Gabriel.
You guys have another song first?
That's it. We got a song ahead, so we just caught it.
I'm with you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy October.
Wow.
How did it get to be October? What happened to the summer? Right? Well, it's great to be back with you. I came down from Whidbey this morning. I was on the ferry this morning. It was very foggy, and the fog was breaking as we were coming across. So there was this pink light above the fog. It's really beautiful. And it was smooth, so it wasn't like this. It was just very smooth. It's nice. So I bring you greetings and blessings from Whidbey this morning. So the title of this talk is That Healthy Smile. Have you ever seen anyone with a radiant smile?
Yes.
When you saw it, did you think that, gosh, they must be using some really good whitening strips? Did you think that? Or, I wonder what toothpaste that is. I mean, that's what the advertisers would like you to think, right? I don't don't know, I think there's more going on there behind a radiant smile than mouthwash and toothpaste. Just a guess. But I saw someone with a radiant smile a while back, and I was thinking about that. It was almost like I followed the radiance into where it was coming from. And it was really clear to me that it was coming up from something deep inside. That radiance was rooted in an awareness or a connection with the divine essence inside. In Unity, you always hear us talking about the God within, right? That's something that's on the t-shirt of Unity, isn't it? The God within, the presence within. It's a wonderful concept. But what does that really mean to you? Do you have a relationship with God within? With divine essence inside? Are you aware of what that feels like? Of how that shows up? I mean, clearly it comes through Aaron and his singing. And we have no doubt about that, right? And clearly he has shared that with people around the world and who have been inspired to write their own music, as we've just seen. And he's brought that back to us and shared what he has taken, what he has inspired. He brings it back to us so that we then partake of that. And then we share back to them. So that essence, that radiance that comes from him gets spread out through the world. And he's getting ready to take it back to Europe, right? You're going to Europe soon, right? So that radiance, that what comes up and comes out from that connection within is so important. And I talk about it today because, as you heard me say, in this crazy world that we're living in that seems to get new depths of craziness every week, it's like, so what do you and I talk about in the midst of that? What do we have to say to one another in the midst of all that? And it seems to me it gets more and more important to be aware of and make room for and to invite forth that radiance from within. That deep, deep connection within, because isn't that what the world needs now? And you and I can call that forth in each other. So I ask you as we sit here together, what is your awareness? Do you have an ongoing moment-to-moment relationship with the divine within? Do you allow it to embrace you? Do you have a conversation? Because you know you can get away with it now, because you can be in your car and you can be talking and nobody's there and nobody thinks a thing of it because they just figure it's Bluetooth, right? So you can talk to yourself all you want and it's no big deal. Do you have that sort of intimate connection with the divine within? Because you know the divine is always available for that conversation. And there's nothing too trite. There's nothing too minimal to have that conversation about. It does not always have to be great, huge, profound statements of spirituality. It can be, wow, I wish I had more patience for those cars in front of me.
I just said that the other day.
Did you see? See?
I said I need more patience with other drivers.
Right.
Cars.
Right, because they can take it out of you, can't they?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I say there, but for God, for the grace of God, I've been.
There you go. See, and having that conversation is like, wow, I'm having trouble with patience this morning. I really could use some more patience. Or whatever it is. Maybe you've had a difficult conversation with someone. You wish you could replay it, but that's hard to do. So what can you do now? And so to ask for some support around that. It's always there. That connection is always available. It's just making use of it. And sometimes we think, well, I don't want to bother the divine with something as little as this. Oh my goodness. The divine, she especially enjoys that stuff. There's so much big stuff going on in the world. I can't imagine the divine has time for me. Oh my dears. everything that we're experiencing is as important to the divine as the next person and the next person and the next person, because we're all connected. We're all one. There isn't anyone higher on the totem pole than anyone else. And that's hard for we humans who are linear thinkers, or tend to be, to believe. But I promise you, if you go within and listen, you'll be able to confirm that. And if you've got something going on that is difficult or challenging or threatening or causing a lot of emotion, especially then go within and say, come forth. I don't see an answer to this in any way, shape, or form. Come forth. Come forth in this. When we begin to do that first, how different will our world be? How different will our experience be? I was sitting with and wondering why. Why is connecting with the divine, why is it not our first choice? Why is it our second, third, fourth, or fifth, 10th, whatever it is? Why is that? And what I started to get, which was true for me, and see if this relates for you, is I have to sometimes deal with my sense of unworthiness first. Right? Can you relate to that? That sense of unworthiness, that sense that does believe, well, God isn't listening to me, or I don't deserve that, or I'm not big enough to have a direct one-on-one relationship with divine. That isn't mine. And so I went deeper with that. Well, why is that? And I started following it back in, going deeper and deeper into that, quest of looking for what's underneath that. And I was reminded of the times back when I was working at the foundation in Ashland with Neil Donald Walsh. I worked with him for 8.5 years. You've heard me tell you that. He's the guy who wrote the Conversations with God books. And we used to have this education program where people came from around the world to study with us for 21 days. Well, people coming from around the world and spending $13,000 and traveling thousands of miles to come for 21 days, that's quite a huge commitment, isn't it? So what we would notice, and I was responsible for writing curriculum and delivering it, there's a huge responsibility there because there's a whole lot of commitment. People are ready and open to whatever it is that you have to offer. So there's a huge responsibility to have something to offer, right?
Yeah.
Wow. And they would be so willing to jump in and dive in to whatever it was that we were bringing forth. And what was so interesting about that was when people are diving deeply into who they truly are and their essence, when they make contact with the essence of who they are, do you know what often happens? Do you know what almost always happens when they do that? They fall in love. They fall in love. You know why? Because they're making contact with the essence of who they are. And everything that goes on outside of them is in some way a reflection of their connection to that, of their acceptance of that, of their awareness of that. And so very often when we make contact, and it doesn't have to be just in a spiritual retreat time. It can be anything. It can be when Aaron's writing music, or you're working in the garden, or whatever it is that causes you to make contact with the essence of who you are. In that moment, there's a falling in love. Because how could you not? How could you not? And what so often happens, and see if you're familiar with this, is so often what happens is when our heart opens and we fall in love, what we think we're falling in love with is that out there that's looking back at us. right? How many of you can, oh, you don't have to put your hand up all the way, but how many of you ever fell in love at a retreat? Or got a crush on someone at a retreat? Anybody? Or been to something like that where you're doing, is that how you two met?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, this is an exception right here. This was meant to be. They just used that connection to find each other. Yeah. But you see, the thing of it is, did I get you in trouble, Aaron? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. But you see, we can all feel into the beautiful power of that.
Oh, yeah.
But so often what happens, if it isn't an amazing opportunity like these two share, what we tend to put it out there on somebody else or something else and don't see that what's out there is a reflection of what's going on in here. And so sometimes, and I'm not talking about these two, I'm talking about in general. Just forget these two are even in the room. What I'm talking about in general is that very often we put that love, we give the credit to something out there rather than being aware that what we've really done is connect with the essence of who we are. Do you get that? Questions or comments about that? Because so very often we give the credit of the divine connection that we have inside ourselves to something or someone out there. Now, the divine plan, if you put it, or the divine expression, is that all the relationships that we have, if we're aware of where they're coming from, can be as beautiful as it is with these two. Now, are we going to be in love with everyone that we know? Well, not at that level. That could be confusing, and it could be problematic. But you see what I mean? That there are, when we understand that it's making that connection with that divine inside ourselves, when we open the door to that awareness that everything changes, that we can begin to trust what we experience in life as part of the expression, the outpicturing, the pushing out of that divine connection inside. And even if there is a challenge or a problem, if we're aware of what truly is the underlying truth of us, the solution comes forth. And we're all more as a result. Does that make sense? Have you had experiences like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, you're reminding me, because since the 70s, I worked quite extensively in trainings like you. And to me, it's the most infectious, contagious thing that happens. Because when one does, it's like popcorn. It's like it affects this one, this one, this one, and pretty soon the whole room. In a retreat that I'm working with, it's just like all at once everybody starts going on. Because they're all reaching that place, and when somebody does, it triggers that in others.
Absolutely. And we had to be really careful with the frame around that, because a 21-day container is a hot container.
Amen.
Hot for a lot of reasons. And what we had to do in order to create this frame to support the families that are back home who've sent their loved one here to be with us for 21 days and to have this experience is that we actually had to have everyone sign an agreement that said that they wouldn't be sexual with one another. And we actually had to send a couple of people home. Because the contract didn't work. But we felt a responsibility to the people's families, right? And the reason, and thank you for bringing that up, is because when we open up to the divine inside, it's juicy. And I'm not meaning that in an irreverent way, but it can go irreverent really easy. Again, I'm not referring to you two. There's nothing wrong with finding your true love in a situation like that. But that's not always what's going on there. And it takes time to kind of discern. You know, discernment is everything. But so very often we do have that feeling, that amazing feeling that overwhelms us. And we don't realize that it's actually the blush of the divine rising up in us. Can it go on to create or draw to us the love of our life? Of course it can. We can also discern it, and we think it's here and it's really over here. And so the lesson is discernment. It was very hard to send someone home who'd spent $13,000 and traveled from Sweden. It was tough. And of course, Neil let me do it. But you see, that's part of consciousness. And awareness is responsibility. We came out of an era that very much, you know, the I'm okay, you're okay thing, where I'm not responsible for you and you're not responsible for me and we can do whatever we want. And a lot of people, I'm in the spiritual realm, and you've heard me speak about this term before, spiritual bypass. The idea that being spiritual means I have no responsibility for my behavior. I can do whatever I want. Nothing could be further from the truth. The more conscious we are, the more responsible we are, the more aware we are of the consequences of what we do, what we say, how we show up. Questions or comments about that? It isn't less responsibility. It's greater. And in consciousness, we accept that because we're aware of that. And that's why we had to have that frame that was really strong in that group, because we wanted to support everybody making contact with divine essence. And it is wonderful. And it is amazing. And it's luscious and juicy and fun and joyful. And for many people, it was the first time they've ever made that contact. And there's responsibility that goes with it. What is it to those who much are given, much is asked? And so I wonder about in our world where we have so much, that we're watching our brothers and sisters going through a period of time where they have nothing. Doesn't that break your heart? Does that feel right to you? What do we do about it? What do you and I do about it in this moment of now? What do we do?
Right.
Praying is important. Writing our checks are important. Calling our representatives are important. This is not okay with me. These are my brothers and sisters, including the people, the wildlife, the animals, the land, all of it. And we cannot talk politics from here. We're not allowed to do that. That's illegal, but I can talk consciousness with you. And so as we connect with the divine inside, ask for, what can I do in this moment of now? What can we do? This doesn't feel right. What can we do? And I know the first thing that's most important This is that we are making that connection with the divine inside, because you and I are one, and you and I are one with our brothers and sisters there, and you and I are one with all those who are making the decisions about our brothers and sisters there. And so we have to strongly connect with the truth of us, with the love inside, with the healing inside, with the growth inside, with the strength inside, with the forgiveness inside, so that we can get to the answers, the solutions, the next steps. It isn't going to come from out there, my friends. It's going to come from in here. And that's why this is happening. I have no doubt. These times do not exist to terrorize us. Even though it feels like it at times, doesn't it? You know, do you feel like hiding under the desk or under the table sometimes? Or putting the covers over your head? It's like... But these times do not exist to terrorize us. They exist to grow us. They exist to encourage us, to demand that we connect with the truth of us and come from there. We've seen the world we've created otherwise, right? Here's a technical term. It sucks. Oh gosh, that's going to be on the recording, isn't it? Mark, can you? No? Oh well. We live in a world that's been created from outside the truth of who we are. Is that not true?
Yes. Yes.
It's time to choose again, my friends. And there's an urgency about it, isn't there? It's not happening to terrorize us. It's not happening to make us hopeless. It's happening to wake us up. We've been living in a world where we're asleep, where the only choices we've had to make are, do you want paper or plastic? That we have the answer to every question we could possibly think of on our phone. You're looking at something on TV and saying, how old is she? I've seen her in something before. What has she done? I'm looking at a menu and there's something on the menu. I don't know what that is. What's the name of Aaron and Elizabeth's charity? Right? You have the answer to every question you'd ever want to ask in your hand. The times are demanding us to wake up to the truth of ourselves, and we're not going to find that on Google. Oh no, really? And Unity reminds us, Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, reminds us that God is personal. God is personal. It's personal to us when we recognize God within us as indwelling life. This is not just a feel-good Pollyanna show. This is you and I making contact with the truth of us. That's what we're singing about. That's what we're all about here, is making that connection with the truth of you inside and walking out the door with a working relationship with that energy, with that root that's in you. Fillmore says, God is approachable, available, and usable to all who draw nigh unto him. God is spirit, the principle of intelligence in life, everywhere present at all times, forever as accessible as the principle of mathematics or music. Now, I don't know about mathematics, but music? Oh, I can go there. Can you go there? Yeah. As usable as the principle of music. Is the divine singing in you constantly? And maybe it happens a few times a day. That's okay, we'll take it. Maybe we can increase it to 5 or 10 times a day or 20 times a day. It's like an exercise program. It's like being at the Y, all of you that are gathering at the Y around the pool, to exercise, to relax. This is also an exercise program, strengthening the muscle of your connection with the divine. And that takes practice. Just like everything else, it takes practice. Does it take practice for the connection to be made? No. The connection was always there. The practice is us being aware of it, saying yes to it, allow it. Do you see the difference? That's the variable. This is an old-time example. But you remember radios?
Oh, yes.
Well, they're always there, and there's always something being broadcast, but you don't know it if you don't have it turned on or tuned in. That's the variable. Do you see? Questions or comments about that? Do you get why we're spending time on this? It's so important, and our world is really needing us to get this. And you beautiful beings are the solution, are the answer. It's not any more complicated than that, because I promise you, when we tune into the truth of us, the solutions will be there, including how to get this from point A to point B so people don't die. Right? There's no limitations or exceptions to what we can find in this amazing connection that we have with Source. You will not get a qualifier that says, well, you can talk about these things there, but you can't go there. No, there's no exception. Whether it's what I'll have for lunch today, you can even ask about that. It's probably not going to tell you to eat sugar. Just my guess. I don't know. I shouldn't say. I don't know. Oh, it never tells me to eat sugar. But you see, it's not about we're looking for a parent.
Yeah.
And that's important, isn't it? We're not looking for a parent. We're not looking for an authority. We're looking for the truth of us that always was and always will be. And that's a huge distinction. Because when we go to parent or authority, a lot of us have a lot of stuff around that, don't we? And rightly so. It's not about that. It's about the truth of us. And this essence of you knows you better than you know yourself. Knows where you've walked. Knows your triumphs and your tragedies. Knows your wounds. Knows your strengths and your shortcomings. There isn't anything it doesn't know about you. So doesn't it make sense to you that this would be the place that you'd look for your inspiration, for your comfort, for your support, for your answers, for your forgiveness, for your love? And as we allow ourselves to be filled up with that love of essence, as we let ourselves be filled up, then we can be in relationship with those around us, but not from a needy place, right? We can allow the relationships around us to be what they are and enjoy them. and relax with them because we don't need them to be anything because we're already filled up from within. And how much, think about that if you can, behold someone you love and behold them from a place that has no need attached to it. Whoa. It's a little different, isn't it? We can do that. That's part of what the connection to divine essence is opening the doors and windows, allowing it forth to fill us up. Like every morning when you're in the shower, when water's coming down on you, allow the divine to radiate divine love within you, in all the nooks and crannies, body, mind, and spirit, your inner child. Be filled so that you step into your day already filled with the love of the divine. What kind of a day do you think you're going to have? And as you and I do that, how does that impact what's going on in other parts of the world? Does it make a difference? Yes, it does. Why? How? Because we're all one. There's no separation. And you and I operate from that place. That encourages others to do the same thing, or to get a little better at it. So let's take a moment to get comfortable in our seats. Get where you're comfortable. If it feels comfortable to you, close your eyes. Take some breaths. Divine Beloved, I'm here. I open myself and allow and invite your presence to come through me, to fill me up. I acknowledge the divine in me that is always connected to Source. Increase my awareness, expand my awareness. I give permission to allow the divine in me to step forward, to take the lead. Go before me. Lead the way. Show me. Lift me up. And as I am lifted, all are lifted. And if there's any place in me that is afraid or doubting or hurting, Divine Source, go there first. Embrace there first. If there's any place in me that doubts this connection, show up there first. Help me to feel you. Help me to be aware that there is no separation. Help me to understand that there's nothing I could do or have ever done or didn't do that prohibits our union. I realize that you truly know me. Therefore, there's nothing I have to prove to you. And as I allow this connection to bathe me in peace, in relief, in silence, I am aware that there are those who could certainly use this reminder right now, who could certainly use this connection with you, this direct experience of your sacred embrace. Laurel, our dear Laurel, could use that this morning. And if there's anyone else you'd like to name, feel free to do so right now.
Lynn?
Jennifer. Dad.
George. Puerto Rico.
Our government.
Yes, indeed. As we say yes to and allow Divine Source to fill us to overflowing and lift us up to the next highest expression of ourselves, so are all our leaders lifted up. To a higher vision, to greater courage and strength. And to all those suffering around the world, especially the islands in the Caribbean, in the Southeast, and anywhere else where there is suffering. Fill these circumstances, these people who are living with these circumstances, fill them to overflowing with divine essence, with the truth of who they are. Divine love, essence of all life, infiltrate every heart, every mind, every body. That we are all reminded of our oneness, our validity, our deserving as life itself. For the opportunity to be reminded of the truth of us together. We are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Mark, I will do without that extra channel. Just piano. I have tried to speak what is true, but words they will not do. My heart is the receiver, picking up and believing the sweet signal coming through. Words ain't big enough, my fumbling tongue ain't digging up the way to say. And in the end, my friends, the silence says it best, and words, they just get in the way. So I say, the name of this song is a secret, but I know that it won't be long till we reach for the beach been seeking. You know the melody, you hear it when you're dreaming, it disappears when you wake, and you ache to dream again. Oh, this song, the name of this song is a secret, but I know that it won't be long till we reach for the beach been seeking. You know the melody, you hear it when you're dreaming, it disappears when you wake, and you ache. There's too much talk, listen to what you're missing. There's too much talk, by day I dream of night. You've got to know your shadow if you want to reach your light. I'm haunted by a memory of melody. I close my eyes and I invite it in. I feel and I taste before I hear it, like a sudden rain shower. No harmony, no words, just the pulse in the veins of the world beating louder, louder, louder. The name of this song is a secret, but I know that it won't be long till we reach for the beach been seeking. You know the melody, you hear it when you're dreaming, it disappears when you wake, and you ache to dream again. Oh, this song, the name of this song is a secret, but I know that it won't be long till we reach for the beach been seeking. You know the melody, you hear it when you're dreaming, it disappears when you wake, and you ache. There's too much talk, listen to what you're missing. There's too much talk, listen to what you're missing. There's too much talk, listen to what you're missing. There's too much talk, listen.
Thank you. And thank you. Okay, we're going to be having a time of offertory. So I invite you, as you take out your tithes and love offerings today, think about how blessed you are. And as you're writing your check or giving your gift, send your blessings out. Okay, Joe, could you come forward and Marilyn, and together as a congregation, we're going to bless the offering. The blessing is on the screen, so we'll all direct our energy towards the offering. And together
we dedicate these gifts in service to the highest mission, recognizing and celebrating our oneness with God. We joyfully and freely participate in the law of circulation, of giving and receiving, knowing God is source, the source of all good, and we are grateful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Food for life. Do we have a food for life bag?
I can bring it, just 1 second.
Aha. We will have it in a second. We have a mission, or we support a mission that takes food to a church, another church that helps put together lunches for the homeless. And we call it the Food for Life program. And Charlene and Jim Bryan are primarily responsible for that. Thank you for your service. But anyway, we offer people the opportunity to take home this bag each week, fill it up with non-perishable things that would be suitable for little lunches and things like that would easily be carried for people who are homeless. Is anybody interested in taking the bag this week to fill it up with? Thank you, Susan. And so we have a bag for you, and I'm going to just put on the podium for the moment, but thank you, Susan. Thank you for doing that. Okay, is there any good news to share? Cindy?
All right, 2 things. We have some birthday cards in the fellowship area for everyone to sign at your leisure. And secondly, and probably more importantly, both Erin and Elizabeth have CDs in the fellowship area available for purchase, so please check them out.
I have 2 of Erin's CDs. I keep them in the car. They're really good driving music.
And I bought Elizabeth's last time. Phenomenal. So yeah, they're both fantastic.
Wonderful, wonderful. Were there any children in the Sunday school today?
Not today.
Not today, okay. All
But
right.
Jay's birthday card is available for signature. His birthday is next Sunday. So.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we've reached that time. Let's stand up, join hands, and sing "Let There Be Peace on Earth," and then we'll have our closing prayer as well.
Oh, whatever.
Be right back.
I think we're going to do this a cappella, folks.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God washes over us. Wherever we are, God is,